So the unit we're doing today is business communication. My name is Shazia Khan, and the learning outcome we're doing today is learning outcome 3, which is to understand how organizations communicate with customers. So firstly, I want to give you a summary of what we did in the last session, which is learning outcome 2. So learning outcome 2, we looked at how we can communicate complex business information effectively in both oral and written forms. So we looked at the issue around examples of oral communication, and we looked at the issue of why it's so important, that we use oral communication within an organization or a business setting. We also looked at the 2 types of oral communication and where it is used either formally or informally. We also looked at the advantages of oral communication within an organization. We then went on to look at formal communication, why it's so important, and why there's a need for it within a business organization. We then went on to look at effective written communication and why it's so important. So, written communication is important both in your personal life, but also in your professional life, and especially within an organization that you are working with. We also looked at where we use written communication, so things like business communication, so where it's used in business settings for various purposes, such as, for example, sending emails, writing memos, preparing reports, creating any sort of proposals or anything. We then went on to look at academic communication, and this is in an academic setting. So, for example, it could be in the form of doing essays for students, or any sort of research papers. We then went on to look at legal communication, which is essential in the legal field, and then medical communication, which is essential in the medical field. We looked at the importance of written communication, why it's important that the message is conveyed properly, why there's things that, some reasons why written communication is so crucial, things like clarity, precision. We looked at record keeping. We looked at professionalism, when you need to write in a professional manner, especially within a business, why it's so important. We looked at why written communication is so important in the fact of accessibility, that is available at any time. We looked at importance of written communication in the digital age. We also looked at what effective written communication helps to. So it helps to convey a message clearly to an individual, also avoids any sort of misunderstanding and confusion. It builds trust and credibility and fosters any sort of relationships, and saves times and resources. We looked at why it's so important that you know your audience, tried to proofread your work. Also, we looked at the issue in regards to why written communication is so important in a business, why it's so critical, and how it is important in trying to sell your brand, try to get your brand across to professionals, and identify any sort of issues in regards to, getting feedback from people. That's, it could be customers, it could be colleagues, it could be friends, why it's so important, why effective communication is so important in regards to a business, and why it's so important to use clear and concise language as well. Now we're going to move on to learning outcome 3, which is looking at understanding how organization communicates with customers. And it's so important when we look at how an organization communicates with customers, to identify that the most important thing, effective communication, is providing a positive experience for its customers. So, if you don't effectively communicate with your customers, you are not providing a positive experience, by being aware of verbal and non-verbal communication techniques, as well as overcoming any sort of potential cultural, emotional barriers, which we looked at before, things language, culture. You can make sure that your customers feel heard and respected, because this is really important in any organization, to make sure that your communication is portrayed, and why it's so important. It leaves the parties satisfied and accomplished, and it makes sure that you're delivering the messages clearly and no misunderstanding there. So effective communication with customers is crucial for organizations to establish and maintain strong relationships, enhance customer satisfaction, and drive business success. In this presentation, we will delve into the key factors that organizations must consider when communicating with customers, explore various communication systems in organizations, and propose effective solutions for handling any sort of customer complaints. So why it's so important, why there's a need to have clear, effective communication, to identify any sort of issues, both for, customers and the staff, to look at any sort of policies and procedures in place. If a customer wants to inquire about a product, it's necessary that you have effective communication to communicate the product to them, to ensure that they understand, what the product is. And there's a difference between, like we mentioned earlier, communication can make a difference between positive and negative experience. So you can be clear, empathetic, efficient. Communication can lead to quick problem solving and improved overall experience. On the other hand, insufficient communication can lead to, someone having lost in trust, someone being dissatisfied, and reduce customer loyalty. So it's really, really important when we look at communicating with customers that the form of communication we have is more effective communication, because we're there to, improve our customer brand, but also, we are there to identify that we are getting things across to the consumer or the customer and try to, communicate with them effectively. So key factors for communication with customers. So firstly, understanding customers' needs and preferences is really, really important, to form an effective communication. Organizations must conduct thorough market research and gather customer feedback to identify the preferences, buying behavior, and communication preferences. Tailoring communication messages to address these needs and preferences ensures relevance and resonance with the target audience. So, you communicating, delivering a good communication skills, but also meeting, with the customer, but identifying any sort of market research. Market research is really important for identifying, what your customers' needs are, but also what your customers' expectations are. Having face-to-face meetings with them, discussing the brand that you are selling, any sort of buying behavior with them, supporting them, but consistently communicating with them allows you to develop a more a more effective relationship with them. Understanding customers' needs and preferences, and that's really important, to understand customers' needs and preferences, because as an organization, you need to understand what your customer wants. You could, you are there to make this experience more positive. And if you understand what they want through surveys and things like this, and providing focus groups, it identifies that you are able to produce something towards your customers' needs. So to effectively communicate with customers, organizations must first understand their needs and preferences. This involves conducting market research, which we said is really, really important in regards to understanding your customers' needs, analyzing customer data. So whether they like the product or not, whether they, enjoyed using the product, or whether they didn't like the product. So customer data is really important, and soliciting feedback through surveys and focus groups by gaining insight into what customers value and expect. Organizations can tailor their communication messages and strategy to resonate with their target audience. So customer research helps you to better understand the reasons and motives for customers' actions. So when you're regularly running these customer surveys to get this feedback, it makes it easier to create products that meet the needs and requirements of the audience. So it's really important, that you are there to meet the requirements of that audience, because that is effectively what you're doing, because you have to send your brand. You are there to the overall experience of customers is generally referred to as the user experience. So, you know, you need to be there to give them that experience, you know, you need to be there to be, you know, transparent with the customer and identify that, you know, these kind of experiences, you know, value their experiences and identify what they want, but also look at the issue around fairness and things as well. Consistency in messaging. So consistency in messaging is essential for building brand recognition and trust among customers. Organizations should ensure that their communication messages are aligned across all channels and touch points, including websites, social media, email, and advertising. By maintaining a consistent tone, style, and branding, organizations can reinforce their identity and values, fostering customer loyalty and engagement. And as we said, social media is one of the biggest functions of customer relations, because it's, you know, you're using this kind of social media to enhance your customers' needs, but also, you know, keep a track on what they like. You know, customers, you know, making things like, you know, social media is one of the biggest elements of trying to get something across to a customer. You know, you by using social media, you post things like, you know, special offers, information about any sort of new products or services, and any sort of general announcements about the product. So social media works best when you use it to build customer connections, relationships, and a rapport with your customers. And it's there, it's not just for simply selling your product, but it's there, it's crucial in today's society and today's world. And, you know, it's nationally and internationally. So it's there, you know, to identify that. Also things like, you know, sending newsletters out to give customers any promotions, things like that. Any sort of, you know, issues about any sort of face-to-face, you know, communication with the customer, online communication, as we mentioned, you know, that's really important. Answering any emails, any live chats, anything like that would help you get your brand across. Personalization and customization. So personalization and customization enable organizations to tailor their communication messages to individuals, customers, their preferences and behaviors. By leveraging customer data and segmentation, organizations can deliver targeted and relevant content that resonates with each other's unique needs and interests. Personalized communication enhances customer engagement, satisfaction, and loyalty, driving business growth and success. So you need to take on board the feedback that is given, you know, the customer data that you receive and that feedback that is given, because that feedback will make sure that you produce a product that is in the needs of the customer, and make sure that your customer will keep coming back for that product. You need to make sure that you have, you know, your customer relations in place to interact with the customer and develop this strong rapport. Timelessness and responsiveness. So timelessness and responsiveness are critical aspects of effective communication with customers. Organizations must respond promptly to customer inquiries, feedback, and complaints to demonstrate their commitment to customer satisfaction. By providing timely and relevant responses, organizations build trust and credibility, and also enhances their overall experience and loyalty to the brand. So it's really important that you portray this communication with the customer, because you are there to support your customer. So if you get customer feedback that's negative, you need to be out there to first, and you know, you need to be critical, but also you need to be able to have this opportunity to, you know, identify any issues with the products, demonstrate that you are a committed organization or a business and you want to communicate effectively and responsiveness. So don't be leaving things late. You know, you get emails, forums, any sort of issues around that. Resolve the disputes, resolve it quite quickly. You know, if you handle it professionally and quickly, you build this big customer relationships. You know, you develop customer service standards, you know, standards and benchmark. This gives the customer a fee, you know, like we said, their loyalty to the brand, you know, and gives them that peace of mind that you are delivering and providing a good customer service to them. So, you know, you need to make sure that you are doing things timely and quite responsively. Clarity and transparency. So clarity and transparency in communication are essential for building trust and credibility with customers. Organizations should ensure that communication messages are clear, concise, and easy to understand, avoiding technical jargon, or ambiguity. Transparency involves providing honest and accurate information to customers about products, services, pricing, and policies, fostering openness and trust in the relationship. So it's really, really important you listen to your customers. You're able to, identify that, you are fostering this kind of transparency and making it clear to them that, whatever that, you are being transparent, but you also being fair. So customers appreciate and expect businesses to be transparent, even if it means accepting their faults. Sometimes it's really good to accept your faults or any sort of shortcomings. To gain and maintain their trust, always try to be transparent and honest about any changes to your prices and services and policies. If you can do this, customers are more likely to be brand loyal and stay with you for longer. Another element is fairness. So when people think of fairness in a business, many people focus on pricing. Ideally, this needs to extend into a wider number of areas, including the service, benefits, company policy, and more. Customers put their trust in any sort of business or organization when they choose to, get a product. So they need to know that they can, they do all can in terms of fairness to maintain the trust. And whoever they're interacting with as well, empathy is another one that's quite important. You need to be open, you need to foster your policies, and you need to build that trust within an organization for the customer and the business. And trust is really, really important, because you are building that trust to make sure that you are, being more efficient, and you are providing the service to the customer, and you are putting the customer first, because that's really important. Empathy and emotional intelligence. So empathy and emotional intelligence plays a crucial role in effective communication with customers. Organizations should train their employees to empathize with customers' concerns, emotions, and perspectives, showing understanding and compassion in their interactions. By demonstrating empathy, organizations can build rapport, resolve conflicts, and create positive experiences that foster customer loyalty and advocacy. So whoever they're interacting with, whether it's sales, marketing, or support teams, customers expect a certain level of empathy. And I would as well. For example, anyone expects that customer loyalty. It's also worth noting that not every customer is likely to be using the services for the same purpose or at the same level. So, you need to put yourselves in their shoes of the customer and address their concerns in a calm and timely manner, whatever the issue is. So you should not, try arguing with the customer. Try to resolve disputes in a professional manner. Remember, these kind of feedback could be given as a bad review on things like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, which can quickly travel internationally and nationally, and potential harm the reputation of the business. So you must always try to be more empathetic and maintain a consistent level of service. So empathy is really, really important in any organization. Avoid things like any sort of conflicts between the customer and yourself, and also create this positive environment and this experience for the customer, so that they will return, and they will build up your reputation and build up your rapport, because that's what it is. It's all about fostering customer loyalty. So the next one to look at is compliance with regulations. And this is really important, because you need to comply with all regulations, regulatory, legal, and regulatory regulations, and follow policies. Because if you do not comply with these, then you're not meeting the criteria of the legal implications, the policies, and everything that need to be put in place. So compliance with legal and regulatory requirements is essential for ensuring any sort of ethical and responsible communication with customers. Organisations must adhere to laws and regulations governing consumer rights, so Sale of Goods Act, Data Privacy, GDPR, Data Protection Act, advertising and marketing practices. By maintaining compliance, organisations can mitigate legal risks, protect customer trust, and uphold their reputations as ethical and trustworthy businesses. So it is really important that you comply with the laws and the regulations that are in place, because as a business, you need to rely on you need to comply with these for you to become a better business, and you need to look at these as the most important factors of any business and the success of a business. If you do not comply with the regulations, the policies that are put in place, then you are breaching the law, and that's sometimes, if it becomes an issue, it could become a criminal offence. So you need to make sure that you are dealing with consumers' rights properly, protecting their rights, always putting the consumer first. If there's things that, risks and, any sort of issues around protecting customers, that should be your main priority of any business. Systems for communications with customers. So there are various systems that have been put in place that can be used for customers to improve any sort of customer engagement, to make sure that this, customer, to build that relationship, to develop customer services and things like that. So various communication systems are used in organisations to facilitate communication with customers across different channels and touch points. These systems include customer relations management, CRM software, email communication platforms, and social media management tools, which is a big thing and a growing thing as well. Customer support and ticketing systems, feedback and platform systems, marketing automation software, and mobile apps and SMS messaging platforms. Customer relationship management, CRM system. CRM systems are used by organizations to manage and analyze their customer interactions. And data throughout customers' life cycle. This system enables organizations to store customer information, track customer interactions, manage sales opportunities, and personalized communication with customers. By centralizing customer data and automating communication workflows, CRM systems help organizations enhance customer relationships and drive sales. So they're really important. They're there. They support sales management, deliver any sort of actionable insights, integrates with social media, as we stated, and facilitates team communication. And cloud-based CRM systems offer complete mobility and access to an easy ecosystem of any sort of bespoke kind of apps that are used. It's used a lot in businesses, and it's good for small businesses. It's good for any sort of businesses. It's a software that's, the purpose of the software is to store any data in regards to any sort of business management. Examples of how CRM works: a good CRM doesn't stop at collecting information. It helps harness all of that data to get personal at scale, sending the right messages at the right times to leads and clients, focus sales teams on hottest prospects, shorten the sales cycle, monitor, analyze, and improve results. There are different ways. A CRM system absorbs as much lead information as possible before guiding them or helping them through a planned journey. So it's really, really important system to use. And it's efficient for some areas, because sales CRM software streamlines the entire sales process, improve visibility and prioritization and follow-ups, so it's good for the sales team and quite effective. Email communication platforms are widely used by organizations to communicate with customers via email. So this, is a big for a platform that is used by a lot of organizations to email and to work with people through emails rather than, using other softwares. These platforms provide features such as email marketing, automation, segmentation, personalization, and analytics. Organizations use email communication platforms to send promotional campaigns, newsletters, transactional emails, and customer service communications, engaging customers and driving conversions. So, having effective communication within any sort of organization with the use of emails is really important. And sometimes you need to, there are ways that you need to make sure that you communicate with your customers effectively and efficiently to provide this great form of communication. Social media management tools. Social media management tools enable organizations to manage and analyze their social media presence across multiple platforms. These tools provide features such as scheduling, publishing, monitoring, engagement, and analyticals. Organizations use social media management tools to create and share content, respond to customers' inquiries and feedback, monitor brand mentions and trends, and analyze performance. So, this is another way of, listening to your customers, building this kind of relationship with your customers, taking your time to listen to them, to, develop this customer service standards. And, it's really important that you are listening to your customers, because that is the main thing. And by responding to customers, you are effectively, listening to what they want, what they need, and, what in regards to the issues around, customer satisfaction, because that's the main thing. Customer support services. So customer support systems such as help desk software and ticketing systems are used by organizations to manage and resolve customer inquiries and issues efficiently. These systems enable organizations to track and prioritize customer tickets, and also, and provide timely responses, assign tasks to support agents, also collaborate any issues, so try to resolve any issues for them. So if there's any ways of resolving any issues, you try with the use of, collaboration with the customers. Make sure you provide timely responses. As we said, time is, is a big thing. You make sure you respond to your messages from customers in a timely manner, and do it quite quickly, and do not ignore messages, because by streamlining customer support processes, organizations improve their customer satisfaction and loyalty. And that's the biggest thing, to make sure you are prompt, make sure you are professional. By improving customer communication, you retain your old customers, but you also attract new ones, because your reputation is, it's getting better, and people know that, they respond to people properly. Feedback and survey platforms, another really important element. So feedback and survey platforms are used by organizations to collect feedback from customers and gather insights into their satisfaction, their preferences, and also experiences. These platforms enable and generate reports and insights. By soliciting feedback from customers, organizations can identify areas for improvements, measure customer satisfaction, and make data-driven decisions to enhance any sort of customer experience, and identify, that they are providing a strong relationship with their customers. Marketing automation software. So marketing automation software enables organizations to automate marketing processes and campaigns, targeting customers with personalized and relevant communication. These platforms provide features such as lead nurturing, email marketing, social media automation, segmentation, and analyticals. By automating repetitive tasks and workflows, marketing automation software helps organizations, improve their systems. In conclusion, when we're looking at effective communication with customers is paramount for organizations to establish and maintain a positive relationships, enhance customer satisfaction, and drive business success. By considering key factors such as understanding customers' needs, consistency in measuring personalization, timeliness, clarity, empathy, and compliance with regulations, organizations can ensure that their communication strategies resonate with customers and build trust and loyalty over time. Additionally, leveraging various communication systems such as CRM software, email platforms, social media tools, customer support systems, feedback platforms, marketing automation software, and mobile apps can help organizations engage with customers across multiple channels and touch points, delivering seamless and personalized experiences. By prioritizing effective communication with customers and continuously refining their strategies based on feedback and insights, organizations can differentiate themselves in the marketplace and achieve any sort of sustainable growth. It's so important that we have, good communication with our customers, because customer communication is like a two-way street where businesses and customers exchange information. They also maybe joke and maybe even have memes. So it's about building this strong relationship by providing valuable information and support through multiple channels of communication, like we mentioned, emails, social media. It's like customer service tool with a personal touch. So effective communication is the secret ingredient to any sort of winning customers' hearts and loyalty for any business. Businesses can establish trust and credibility by speaking their language and responding to customers' inquiries. Like we mentioned, feedback is really important, and dealing with any sort of concerns or complaints quite promptly and professionally. With this, businesses can establish trust and credibility and enhance not just their customer loyalty but also their brand image. And it's not just about being helpful to customers. Customer communications can help businesses improve their products and tailor them to their customers' needs and preferences. So you're building this relationship with the customers that you are able to build your business as well, because you know what they want, what their needs and preferences are. So by understanding and connecting with customers, you can build a lasting bond beyond just transactions. So whether it's with emails or responding Facebook messages, you have to create this relationship with them. Because you have to try to identify that you are following any sort of customer feedback, and you are looking at building this relationship of loyalty and recognition, so that your brand and your organization is more recognized, and customers are able to approach you. So we finished learning outcome 3 now, and these are some of the resources we've used for learning outcome 3, which is marketing management, Cunningham, Armstrong Smith marketing communications, Phil marketing communications, digital marketing excellence by Chaffee, and Hughes marketing communications. So make sure that you read on to learning outcome 1 and 2. And this is the third learning outcome. The next learning outcome we'll be doing is learning outcome 4, which is in tomorrow's session. And just make sure that you are referring to any sort of ebooks and journals that are on Moodle for additional sources, and also referring to the links, the references, sources that have been used to help you when it comes to doing your assignment, to help you get extra resources, but extra information to, do the extension activities if required. So refer to ebooks and journals on Moodle, on any sort of additional reading on Moodle. And if you have any sort of inquiries or anything, or any queries, questions, just email learnerwork@ukvarsity.co.uk. Thank you for attending today's session, and the next session we've got is learning outcome 4. Thank you.